Hey, how are you? Welcome to my simple and easy Crystals for Reiki workshop. If you know nothing about crystals or nothing about Reiki and you're just getting started, this might not be the workshop for you. I highly recommend that you check out on Udemy Lisa Power's full Reiki Master and Teacher certification. It is phenomenal, and she is one of the best teachers out there, and the course is jam-packed. It is the best one on the internet. She does distance attunements, and you get a beautiful certification from her. If you want to learn more about crystals in depth, I suggest you check out my Crystal Master certification that's available on Udemy. Just search it. Search my name, Joey Wargachuk, and you'll find a bunch of my wonderful courses that specialize in different aspects of crystals, clearing, energetic protection, psychic self-care. The list goes on, including my favorite topic, tarot. I'm so excited to have you on this. I'm going to teach you everything I kind of know in tips and tricks of crystals for Reiki. This is a wonderful journey. One of the main things when we're working with Reiki, working with crystals, is that we don't want to get a lot of different frequencies upsetting the energy and the divine love and divine light that we're channeling in. So when you're doing Reiki, I always say it's very important to take off all of your jewelry, all of your crystals, all of your rings, all of your necklaces as a practitioner. And I always put them in a special sacred geometry velvet pouch that energetically shields them and protects them, but also allows me to keep the bag nearby without affecting the energy. So I take off all of my crystals and I place them in the protective energetic bag. I take off all of my bracelets. I wear a lot of different crystals all the time. I always suggest people that if they're working with crystals that they do no more than 3, maybe 4, but I have been working with crystals my entire life. I'm highly energetically sensitive and understand the subtle matrices that I want to create and use. So I'm taking off my citrine, placing it in the bag, and then I'm taking off my amazing meteorite necklace that connects to divine order of the universe. I'm placing it all in the bag. I stuck it all in there. Super wonderful. I'm tightening the things. I've placed it over the side. Now, what's super important to start with is if you're deciding to incorporate crystals into your practice in Reiki, is how are you going to clear and charge your crystals in between clients? And I think that as a Reiki practitioner, one of the best ways to energetically clear and charge your crystals is through Reiki. You can do, connect to that divine love and light and energetically clear all of your crystals in between all of the energies that might have been affecting by the person. You could be using crystals that don't need to be energetically charged or cleared. That's good too. I always have a candle holder of selenite going, and one of the best energetic ways of clearing and energizing crystals is having a candle going. And I have a candle inside of my selenite candle holder, and it's at the center of the room, usually at the base of the massage table, and it is energetically clearing and charging all of the crystals and clearing and charging all of the energy. And because candlelight, especially if you're using beeswax candles, is connecting to divine fire, which actually clears and energizes the crystals and clears and energizes the space. Because bees are considered so sacred and part of God's creatures, their wax is the highest of vibration. And I always suggest that if you're going to be using candles in a Reiki space, use beeswax. If you cannot afford beeswax, please go with soy. Do not use petroleum or paraffin, because it is just basically the equivalent of using diesel, and the fumes and the toxins can be harmful to yourself and your person that you're doing Reiki on. So please be mindful of that. One of the number one best ways to clear and charge your crystals that I also like to bring out is using selenite. I have a selenite charging tray. I use selenite all the time. You can place all your crystals on your selenite tray. I have a big one, and that will clear and charge and energize your crystals. It is very important. Another way that is very good and connects to the divine energies of the universe is using a sound bowl. I use sound energy and sound clearing and sound to clear and energize the space, clear and energize my crystals. It is very powerful and very important. I love using tincture bells to clear and charge the space, but also clear and charge the chakras of my clients. And it is very useful. Please pay attention and make sure that in between each session, your crystals are getting at least 5 minutes of your attention to clear and charge them so that they are perfectly clean and energized for the next client. It is very, very important. Also, it is very important is that working with divine sacred geometry and the Reiki symbols while working with crystals. So the Tree of Life, if you are past level 2 Reiki practitioner, then you can work with all of the 4 symbols, which I have etched on my crystals for easy activation. So you see right here, very, very close. You can't really... using crystals that have etchings are very useful, and we'll talk more about that later on. But what I like to talk about is that you don't have to work with every single solitary crystal that's out there. I always say that if you're just starting out with crystals and you want to intuitively test and figure out and go to your pile of crystals, that is also very helpful. But when doing Reiki, you're working with chakras, you're working on bringing in divine light. So it's very important if you're starting out to keep it very simple, and color association with chakras is also very important. I also have a set of 7 chakra stones that have the symbols on them for easy application in the shape of hearts. And I think that is very important. The 7 colors associations is the ultimate cheat sheet. So if a crystal is red or black, it is root chakra, and the root chakra symbol is on this beautiful heart. Then we have, if a crystal is orange or brown or reddish orange, it goes on the sacral chakra, which is located in your navel area. Don't forget that the root is located at the base of your spine or right in between your legs. You can place a crystal there, or the bottom of a person's feet. That is also a great way to place a crystal for the root chakra. As we move up to the solar plexus, which is placed right underneath your rib cage, we've got citrine, which is golden, metallic, and orange crystals and yellow crystals that are for energizing your solar plexus. As we move up to the heart chakra, it can be either green or pink stones. As we move up to the throat area, we've got blue stones, sodalite, and you see the symbol of the throat chakra. And then as we move to the third eye, we've got dark blue and purple stones that are very helpful and very good for clearing that chakra. And last but not least, we have purple stones, and purple and clear white and stones are for your crown chakra. When working with the symbols, they can be etched on your crystals. You can use metallic or a Sharpie and write the symbols on your crystals, or set the intention, which is very good, and then you just wash them off after you've done that. That is a safe way, and if you can't afford to purchase etched crystals, because they can be rather expensive. I love working with clear quartz because it is the highest vibration of crystal for setting intention, broadcasting your intention. If you want to access the Reiki symbols without actually having to draw them out, you can use clear quartz that has been etched with the Reiki symbols, and you hold the stone and you beam it towards the person. And it's very simple, very easy. Working with clear quartz it is a seeker crystal, so it broadcasts your intention. So you have to be very mindful, very clear your mind, and channel Reiki energy from the universe through your attuned hands, through the crystal, and using a point that's been etched, and that energy from that sacred Reiki symbol is going through the crystal and beaming onto the person very quickly. I find it very easy and very simple. Same way with using chakra stones that have been etched with the chakra symbols. You don't have to worry about etching them out or drawing them out with your hand. Traditionally, they're already been done. All the work has been done for you, but they can also be very expensive. One of the shapes that I love to use with working with Reiki, and I think is the most best if you're doing Reiki and someone is laying down on a massage table, is palm stones. Palm stones are flat stones that are color associated with the chakras. It's super easy plug and play. You can intuitively test if that's good for that person's chakra by placing your hand over their chakra, asking divine love, and then going over to your crystal pile or your crystal area that you have all set out and spaced out. It's very important if you have a crystal set up not to pile all of your crystals in a pile, because the energy matrix they can create can be a cacophony of energy, and it can actually affect the room and affect the person you're working with negatively. So make sure they're all spaced out, that they have breathing room, and they're associated from black all the way to clear through like color harmonies, and they got a little bit of space and breathing room. You can also place them on a bed of rice or salt, which energetically clears and charges them. It is very helpful in clearing. So I work with palm stones, and palm stones you can place on all of the chakras. And if they don't move, they can stay there. You can leave them there. They will not. If the person moves, they very rarely, unless they get up, will fall off. I have an entire collection box of different palm stones for every different chakra. I find they're pretty amazing and very useful. This is a beautiful, beautiful moss agate. I've got ruby for the root chakra. I've got Kambaba jasper for the heart, for clearing out all the negative traumas. I've collected a huge selection. Smoky quartz again for the root. I've got maybe 80 different palm stones, and this beautiful peach moonstone for the sacral chakra and divine feminine. So you can use all the different kinds of chakra stones and chakra associations for creating balances to the chakras when doing Reiki, and all you need to do is place them on the corresponding chakra. It's like paint by number. It's so simple. And then just channeling the divine love and vibration through the crystal and the alignment of the vibration of that crystal, because it's resonating at the same proper clearing frequency for that chakra, it'll do the work. It's very intuitive. It's very simple. But what I'm going to talk about are some of my go-to crystals for Reiki that are used by practitioners for energizing you, but also helping your client. And if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of money, I always say start with the bare minimum and build up as you get more clients and your reputation builds. And then soon you'll have as large a crystal collection as I do, which is pretty exciting. So number one crystal is selenite. Selenite clears and charges other crystals. It clears and charges and energizes the auras. It clears the room. I run around with my wand all the time, clearing any kind of negative attachments or cords or patterns in the person's aura. I run it up and down the top of their body and underneath the massage table. I use it on myself after I use clearing and charging. Now, one of the things that people ask is, can I use sage, Palos, Santo, Frankincense for clearing and charging my crystals, or clearing and charging the room? Of course you can. I'm choosing right now not to, because of ethical sourcing issues about Aboriginal beliefs of people using sage and smudge in our Western ceremonies, and clear cutting of rainforests for Palo Santo in Peru and South America, and about the shortage of frankincense trees. So I'm choosing to use non-smoke related ways of clearing and charging a space and crystals using sound and other crystals. It is totally up to you. Ask your angels what you resonate with, what is in the best good of yourself and the client, and I 100% support you, but this is how I'm doing it, and I leave the choice to you. So with selenite, it is awesome and wonderful. I have it as a wand, I have it as a plate. I place it, it associates with the crown chakra, so I always place it in the crown area, which is just above the head. It is very useful and helpful, and I love it so much. It clears all the energy and energizes the aura. It helps to kind of really clear out any kind of guck and yuck around the chakras and in between the chakras. And I always do just a swooshing motion over the person about maybe 6 inches, and then I do it underneath the massage table, so I'm clearing out any energetic cobwebs. It's super simple and super easy. The next cleared white crystal, highest vibrations of crystals that I use in a room is clear quartz. I love working with clear quartz. It is a wonderful secret crystal that amplifies intention and beams out huge amounts of high vibrational energy into each of the chakras and into the physical, emotional, and spiritual bodies of my client and myself. I channel Reiki. I use metallic markers to write the symbols on the specific ones. If I have large crystals and don't want to etch them and use them for different symbols and different sacred geometry, I'll use my large piece of clear quartz, and I will use the marker in the specific intent and pre-program it with my intention and vibration and connection to the energies that I want to convey and beam to that person. Is very powerful and very energizing. And what is so wonderful and what I like to use and what I like to share with people about clear quartz is highly programmable, which means you have to be mindful, you have to think about what your intention is, and you have to do self-Reiki before you work with clear quartz, and you have to clear out your own cobwebs and negative thought forms, and have a nice glass of water, wash your hands, and then hold the clear quartz and beam divine love and light into the room, into the space, over your client. And it is so powerful, and it is a very strong crystal. It will really raise you up and give you that boost that you need. What's also very important is grounding and clearing EMF energy in a space. A lot of people talk about pollution in their home, in their air, in their food, sound pollution, noise pollution, but they don't talk about the energetic pollution coming from satellites, microwaves, our Wi-Fi routers, our cell phones. And black tourmaline is a very grounding, very protective anti-EMF crystal. I always place it at the base of my massage table, the base of the feet of my client, and I always, where I stand to do most of the work, which is usually at the head of the chakra table where I'm doing work on the crown chakra, on the person's upper half of body, at the base at the top of the massage table, I place black tourmaline near my feet. And sometimes I'll move around the black tourmaline as I move positions so that I'm always standing and being grounded, and that any negative energy that could be in the room is being channeled into the black tourmaline because it is an energetic vacuum. Black tourmaline is super grounding and protective, and it's like a suction cup of any kind of EMF energy that could be pumped into the room. So I always say work with black tourmaline is the #1 black stone to work with, and it is great for bringing protection to the entire body and protection to the room for yourself. And a lot of the times I will give my clients a little piece of black tourmaline, a little piece of selenite to take home so that they're clearing and energizing and they're grounding and protecting at the same time. Selenite and black tourmaline are an amazing combo because they're clearing and protective. As we move on, I think it's very important to first talk about that when you're doing high volume Reiki, you're going to be energetically taxed. You're going to be filled with high vibrations, but it's very important to recharge yourself and give yourself more energy to think about, make sure you're taking 5-minute breaks in between clients, that you're having glasses of water, you're washing your hands, you're doing self-Reiki on yourself, you're taking a nice deep breath, you remember to blinking. Self-care is very important, but the crystal that I always tell people that if you are a psychic, you're a tarot reader, you're a Reiki practitioner, you're an energy worker, any modality you're working with, you need to be working with healer's gold, which is a matrix stone of pyrite and hematite. Hematite is so powerful for transmuting negative energy in your physical body and turning it into positive energy for you to use. And pyrite being so high vibrational that it gives you that extra energy and boost. As a matrix, and for a healer type person, just like myself and you, wearing it, I wear it as a necklace. I have it as I have little pieces that I put in my pocket, and I have a habishon, which is a crystal that's kind of been polished and it's flat on one side, that I sometimes wear as a ring or keep in my pocket, or place on the solar plexus of my clients, because what it does is it energizes and restores them. And it can be placed in either the solar plexus or the root chakra areas, or touching the skin. And I love it so much because it'll energize you, restore you, and allow you to do as much as you possibly can without burning out. The big thing to note is that a lot of the mines that produce healer's gold are no longer mining it, so it is very expensive. So I was very lucky to get this large piece that I wear around my neck when I'm doing crystal healings, Reiki healings, crystal Reiki, or even when I'm doing tarot readings at high volume events. I find it very restorative and helpful. I definitely suggest that you look it up and get it, because if you're feeling like you're getting energetically drained, that's not what you're supposed to happen when you're doing Reiki. So you should feel high vibe the entire sessions, even if you're doing one session or 16 hours of sessions. But you also need to remember that it's very important to look for the signs of where you feel like you're being energetically taxed, and use the appropriate crystals, use the appropriate methods, and always pay attention. Take care of yourself. That is so important. And this moves on to one crystal that I find very important to people when working with Reiki, is that you have to clear out the guk and balance the alignment of all of the chakras, and clear out the guk in between the chakras. And blue kyanite is a very restorative crystal for dealing with imbalances and outer alignments and the areas in between the chakras. So think of the chakras as spinning balls of energy that flow like waterfalls, back and forth, up and down from each other. And if there's blockages in the way, one chakra will be smaller than the other. If it's out of alignment, a little bit to the left, a little to the right, the energy, they're wobbling, and they need to all be super aligned. Blue kyanite does it. I have this beautiful African Zambian wand from that is just shimmery and shiny, and I use it and just go over all of the chakras. I stop in between the spaces of the chakras, and because it's a point, I just beam that energy in between those chakras, clearing the energy, and it is a wonderful feeling. I have it as this flat wand, and I will place it in the spaces between all the chakras for about 5 minutes each, and it helps to clear those blockages in between the chakras and bring balance. Very helpful, very easy, very restorative. I really, really love connecting to divine love, divine light, divine energy. And the number one crystal for Reiki practitioners that they use for themselves and others is manganese, which is pink calcite. Pink calcite connects to divine light and love, and I always place it on the heart chakra of my clients, and I hold one piece as well and place it on my heart chakra. So I'm healing them and healing myself at the same time. It brings in that divine love and light. it opens up and shines the heart chakra. And when you pulse the heart chakra, energy goes up through the top chakras and down through the lower chakras, clearing out any kind of blockages or negativities. It also brings this feeling of being loved by the divine, and that shines light into the areas of your life that might be darkened or clouded. It is activated and always energized with Reiki's divine love and light. So I love manganocalcite. Pink calcite is totally perfect, ultimate crystal for doing Reiki. I think that you should have a ton. I give always a piece to every person and client that I do Reiki on, so they can keep it so that they have divine light and love vibration always with them, shining in their home, shining in their car. It's there with them, and they don't have to think about it. It is in that vibration and that frequency. I think it's very important for self-love and self-care. And rose quartz, as a practitioner, doesn't matter if you've been doing Reiki for 5 minutes, you haven't started doing Reiki yet, or you're going to be doing Reiki for a very long time, you're quitting your job, or you're a seasoned Reiki professional. Rose quartz gives love, brings attention to self-love and self-care, and brings in divine knowledge and discernment that helps you to really take care of yourself. And what's so wonderful about Reiki is that when you're doing Reiki for others, you're doing Reiki for yourself, and it is wonderful. And I always give rose quartz as well as a gift to clients. I love giving crystals to people, and I'm sure if you have a crystal collection or you're into crystals, you always find yourself giving crystals to your friends. That's a wonderful gratitude practice to get into, and I always encourage it. One of the other things I like to talk about when it comes to crystals and Reiki is your Reiki box or your intention box. This is a box that is very important to have to place the names of people that you are working with or you care about. You write their name on a piece of paper. I'm going to write my sister's name, and I've written her name on this piece of paper, and I place it in my box. This is a great way of doing distance Reiki or doing Reiki for a bunch of people all at the same time. You beam your light and love into the box, and it shines out onto the names, and it connects them because there is no time and space. It gives them that energy and light and love that they need. One crystal that is so powerful for amplifying and tuning and setting your intention and powering up your Reiki box is clear quartz. And I always get a big point or a big generator, a big piece of clear quartz, and I take it out of my box. I put all of my names into the box, and then I place the crystal into the box. It's been programmed with intention of sending divine Reiki love to all the people in my box. I give thanks and gratitude. I put my hands on their box, and I beam that energy and light and love out to them. Sometimes I have hundreds of people in my box. Sometimes I have only a few people. I have multiple Reiki boxes and intention boxes. Clear quartz is super powerful. Now, if you're an entrepreneur and you're starting a spiritual business, or you're deciding that you really want to do Reiki full time, but maybe you're not getting the leads or the clientele, you're dealing with a lack mentality, even though you're like, I really want this to happen. You're setting your intentions, you're making your wishes, you're asking the universe, and it's just not happening. I totally understand where you're coming from. The ultimate crystal pair to work with as a Reiki practitioner, teacher, master, if you're wanting to build a business and have abundance to share with all the people that you love and share your mission, I say working with citrine is the ultimate crystal, because it is a crystal that transmutes negative energy into positive energy for you and your business. It connects to the sacral, which is about creativity, the solar plexus, which is will, strength, money, wealth, prosperity, and the crown chakra, which is the divine. And what you're doing when you're becoming a Reiki practitioner or Reiki entrepreneur, you want to have a divine mission in life. you also want to produce money so that you can afford to help yourself and help other people. And if this is a first-time business venture, it can be very scary about, do you take clients in your home? Do you want to have a space, depending where you're located? And all these different expenses and marketing needs and insurance and certifications, they add up very quickly. And a lot of the times I see some very talented Reiki practitioners give up and go back to their job and become burnt out because they lost so much money, or they got very scared and lack of abundance. So what's really wonderful about Citrine is it takes you from lack and scarcity into abundance and wealth mentality, which then starts changing things in your life. Now, as a super team, I always like to work with pyrite. Pyrite is an attractor crystal. You got a seeker crystal that sends your intentions out to the universe, and then an attractor crystal which brings things in. So I always tell my Reiki practitioners to get a nice cluster, a very beautiful cluster, even if it's itty bitty, and to place in your Reiki space, even if it's at home or on your desk where you're getting started. It needs to go with you everywhere. And then take that pyrite and literally place it on top. Now, another thing that's very important, not only do I write my names on write names of the people I'm doing Reiki clearing and energizing and setting intentions in my Reiki box, but I write it on my business card. So you can place your business card underneath the cluster and the pyrite, and really bring in that wealth, abundance, and attract it into your life. I've been working with crystals and Reiki professionally for a very long time, but in the last 3 years since I've incorporated crystals into my Reiki practice and taught and teaching energetic work and crystals full time, and have so much citrine and pyrite in my home and at my business, it has changed me from feeling very skeptical, feeling very poor, and that I didn't have enough money or energy to help all the people I want, to having more than enough. And I want you to have more than enough, and I want you to have more enough energy and vibration to share with the world, and help as many people as possible. I am so thankful for everyone who took this quick little workshop about tips and tricks about working with crystals for Reiki, working with writing sacred geometry on your crystals. Remember to wash them off after and clear and charge them. I think that it's really powerful and wonderful to work with crystals and to work with Reiki and to bring them into your space. Now, bringing them into your space means I always think it's very important to have clear quartz in the space. I put clear quartz in all of the corners of my Reiki space. I put selenite in all the corners of my Reiki space to clear and energize the space. And I put black tourmaline at all the corners. So clear quartz, black tourmaline, selenite, all the corners of your space. The super trifecta for clearing, charging, and energizing and setting your intention. I think it's very important as a Reiki practitioner to every day to find a piece of clear quartz that you really resonate with. It can be very small or it can be very large, depends on what you resonate with. And to hold that clear quartz and bring in Reiki light and love, and close your eyes and truly visualize you helping as many people. I'm bringing as many people into your space, helping them, watching your space grow and change the world around you. And that light and love that you're connecting to and sharing with your community is expanding and growing at the speed of love and light. I'm so thankful for all of my students online and a happy soul. I'm so thankful that I'm able to work every day so hard that I don't even realize that I'm working so hard, because it's a passion and it's my mission to help as many people as possible, share the power of energy and intuition and crystals to change their vibration. I wish you all the best on your journey, and I look forward to having you join me on my journey and all of my other workshops. Light and love. Until next time.